This is Selma Schimmel, and this is Unique and Unmistakable Amsterdam. The cultural and commercial capital of the Netherlands is used to being the center of attention, and this year is no exception as it hosts the European Cancer Congress 2013. This is a multidisciplinary cancer congress sponsored by ECHO, the European Cancer Organization, ESMO, the European Society for Medical Oncology, and ESTRO, the European Society for Therapeutic Radiology and Oncology. Bringing together the most imaginative and innovative minds and researchers from across the continent and around the world to engage global stakeholders, coordinate a unified oncology community, and speak with one voice. Vital Options Advocacy in Action is here to do the same, bringing together influential leaders of the cancer advocacy community for a three-part advocate forum. This is our fourth European Advocacy in Action, and we are so proud to be in Amsterdam, grateful to be partnering with ESMO and ECHO, and honored to bring it to you. There is a growing body of research advocates. We all started with patient advocacy as sort of one great, we're all advocates. And then you had subgroups. And a very dynamic area now are the research advocates. And I can only speak for the US that research advocates regularly sit on the research panels that evaluate clinical trials. Is that opportunity readily available to research advocates in Europe?
We are in the very early beginning of this, and we are now communicating this to the medical communities, but also to the industry now for the last 2 or 3 years. And we see that there is a willingness to do this, but if it comes to daily practice, if it comes to regulations, if it comes to all these issues, confidentiality agreements and all these issues, that's might quite very problematic to do it on a practical way. So I think we are now moving forward in seeing the first pilot projects in this research. We are doing some activities together with the colleagues from the industry, but also with the medical researchers to change this. But there is a group that had been very successful starting the journey 20 years ago, and this is the HIV community. They are totally involved in research, and so this is something like an example where we need to move forward to be more involved. And looking to these discussions, or always facing these discussions, we are talking about very often patients as something like an anonymous group, something like aliens. Who are patients? We are patients. And everyone can be a patient tomorrow. And so, looking to patients are something like a mirror of the society. They are an average part of the society. So looking to patients, we have, among our patients, we have doctors, we have researchers, we have lawyers, we have very successful and smart people. But looking to regulators and looking to HTA bodies, we get the impression that patients are something like a gray mass, not able to talk about research. And so I think we need to change this, definitely, that patient experts, they need training on research to be involved in this area.
In the area, though, of research advocacy, one area, again, you're correct, following the HIV and AIDS community. And we've taken down a lot of barriers. Patients now sit on FDA committees, advocates do. Is there anything, because we are all advocates together, we are a global community, clinical trials are global in nature. Is there a common ground here where advocates, for instance in the US, could help foster, expedite, push forward the ability because you already have all the training. You don't need our training. But is there something we can do to help you achieve? It's an imperative goal that advocates and patients are part of the process.
We are also networking on a global level. That's why we are running also global networks. But maybe to understand this, the advocacy scene in the US is quite very different from Europe. You have many very professional organizations there, driven like companies with a lot of money, with a lot of donations, and they are able also to hire very well educated people. Some of these organizations, they hire researchers or they hire professionals, doctors, to be involved in this. So the situation in Europe is quite very, very different. So European advocacy is very much driven by volunteers coming over all the years. But now we see more and more a professionalism in European advocacy. We see more and more a collaboration between networks, and these are the issues. And I'm absolutely sure, looking to the US to learn from specific issues, not to copy the system, that's not possible, but to learn from different issues how US colleagues are doing this might be very beneficial.
This feels very passionate for me, the idea that as you succeed in Europe in recruitment and expansion and trials, that doesn't only benefit the patients in Europe. We're talking about the global impact. And in this way, advocates in oncology across the world, we really need each other.
Sure.
And so perhaps there's a way out of this that we can talk about how to strengthen ourselves together, because if we do that, we also, I would imagine, help you.
I think what Markus said is very important from the cultural point of view, because clearly we are all patients, or will be all patients, or are patients of something in any case. I mean, and this should be explained, in a sense, to the public opinion, because if you think about this, the regulators, the third payers, and so on, represent the society. So this conflict between regulators, third payers, and patients is a conflict between the society and patients. So I think that unless we are able to explain to the public opinion that we are all patients, it would be difficult to make progress. And on the contrary, if we are able to convince the public that we are all patients, the regulators, the third payers, represent the society. And so the choices made by the society, also in the area of new treatments and so on, might be different.
Because you are talking about society, and we also talked just briefly about, you mentioned this, that a lot of clinical trials are driven or organized or supported, financed by industry. And looking to this issue, this is another important topic we have to realize. We always question the cooperation or collaboration between patient organization and the industry. And I'm really tired of this discussion done in the public that patient organizations should not work with pharmaceutical industry. This is really, it's tiring me all the time, because it's in our interest to be involved in the industry, and it is our interest to be involved in the clinical research. This is not unethical to work with the industry, and this is not another trick of the industry to get the patients into the pocket. It's our interest to work with the industry, to understand what's going on, and to bring our contribution to make better products and better therapies. That's our interest. And this is one of the topics we are always struggling in this discussion.
ESMO is a process through which we would like to explain to the public the issue of conflict of interest. Of course, we are talking of physicians, but this applies to patients. I heard many people saying patients are those with the main conflicts of interest, which is a little strange, because clearly what a patient may want, I mean, is quite clear. But we must try to explain to the people what conflicts of interest are about. Because unless we are able to do this, I mean, this may be a problem. I mean, working in a multi-stakeholder environment means having relationships. And the problem of conflicts of interest, maybe in the US, especially in the US, has been viewed or is viewed currently in ways which may jeopardize some kinds of collaborations because the public opinion may not understand. And so this is why ESMO is trying to start a difficult process. It will be a long process, but we would try, we want to try to let people understand more about conflict of interest.
Thank you for being so articulate and committed.
Thank you indeed.